This meditation is aligned with the full moon in Pisces, a moment of illumination, intuition, and emotional awareness. Pisces invites us into the world beneath the surface, into imagination, feeling, dreams, and the parts of ourselves that aren't always easy to explain. But tonight, we are not searching for predictions or hidden messages. We are creating enough stillness to notice what may already be asking for our attention. You do not need to find an answer. You do not need to solve anything. You are simply invited to notice what becomes visible when the water grows still. Begin by finding a position that feels comfortable and supported, seated or lying down, whatever allows your body to rest without strain. Take a slow breath in through your nose and exhale gently through your mouth. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Allow your shoulders to soften, your jaw to loosen, your hands to rest. Notice the places where your body meets the surface beneath you. Let yourself be supported. You do not need to understand anything yet. There is nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to uncover. For now, just breathe. Imagine now that you find yourself beside a lake at night. The air is comfortable. The shoreline feels safe beneath you. Above the lake hangs a bright, beautiful full moon. Its light stretches across the landscape, illuminating the shore, the water, and the quiet night around you. But the lake itself is restless. A breeze moves across its surface. Small waves rise and fall. Ripples cross other ripples. And everywhere the water moves, it catches the moon. One source of light becomes hundreds. Tiny points shimmer across the lake like stars. Long ribbons of silver appear, break apart, and form again. Take a moment to watch. There is something beautiful about the movement. You do not need to make the waves wrong. You do not need to stop them. Simply notice how difficult it is to see one clear reflection when the entire surface is moving. As you sit beside the lake, allow the restless water to represent all the ways we sometimes move away from what is difficult to experience. Not because we are weak, not because everything we reach toward for comfort is harmful, but because sometimes we simply want relief. Perhaps you recognize the feeling of staying busy so you don't have to think, distracting yourself so you don't have to feel, losing yourself in another person, another project, another story, another possibility. Perhaps your way of escaping looks entirely different. There is nothing you need to confess here, nothing you need to judge. Simply ask yourself quietly, where do I go when I don't want to be where I am? Allow whatever comes to come. And if nothing comes, let that be okay too. Return your attention to the water. The waves are still moving. The moon is still shining. And you are still safely sitting on the shore. Now notice that the breeze is beginning to soften. You don't make it stop. You simply notice. A little less wind, a little less movement. One wave reaches the shore and disappears. Then another and another. Give the lake all the time it needs. You do not have to command it into stillness. You do not have to command yourself into stillness either. Simply breathe. Slowly, the scattered points of moonlight begin to gather. Hundreds become dozens. Dozens become a handful. The long silver ribbons grow steadier until eventually the surface becomes quiet enough to hold one clear moon, one source of light, one reflection. Rest here for a moment. There is nothing else you need to do. As the lake becomes still, you begin to notice something else. You can see the moon reflected on the water, but now you can also see through it. The water has become clear enough to reveal something beneath the surface. Do not strain to see. Do not go searching. Simply notice whether anything appears. It may be an image, an object, a word, a memory, a person, a feeling, a situation, a color, a sensation somewhere in your body, or perhaps there is simply a quiet sense that something needs your attention. You do not need to know what it means. You do not need to decide whether it is intuition, memory, emotion, or imagination. For now, it is simply something that appeared. And if nothing appears at all, there is nothing wrong with your meditation. Stillness does not owe us revelation. You are allowed simply to sit beside the water. If something has become visible beneath the surface, notice what happens when you look toward it. Perhaps you feel curiosity, relief, resistance, sadness, fear, anger. Perhaps you immediately want the water to start moving again. If so, notice that too. You do not need to dive into the lake. You do not need to retrieve what you see. You do not need to understand its entire history. You can remain safely here on the shore. And perhaps, if it feels right, you can quietly acknowledge, I see that you're there. Nothing more is required. Sometimes we are ready to change something. Sometimes we are only ready to admit that it exists. Both are movement. Bring your attention back to the lake as a whole. Above you, the full moon remains bright and steady. On the surface, its reflection rests in the quiet water. And beneath the reflection, the deeper lake remains. You can see both the light and what lies beneath it, the intuitive and the tangible, what you sense and what you know, what has become clear and what remains uncertain. You do not have to collapse these things into one answer. Clarity does not always mean certainty. Sometimes clarity simply means being willing to remain present with what is actually here. Take another slow breath. Let yourself sit beside the lake without needing anything else from it. Begin gently bringing your awareness back toward your body. Feel the surface beneath you. Notice your breathing. Notice the space around you. And if something arose during this meditation, allow yourself to hold it lightly. You don't have to interpret it tonight. You don't have to act on it tonight. You can simply remember, I noticed. If it feels supportive, ask yourself one final question. What is one small way I can offer care to what I have noticed? Let the answer come now, later, or not at all. As this full moon rests in Pisces, may you honor both your sensitivity and your discernment. May you appreciate the places that once offered relief without asking them to hide what now needs your attention. May you remember that seeing clearly does not require seeing everything. And may you meet whatever rises from beneath the surface with curiosity before judgment and care before force. The water does not need to remain perfectly still. Soon, the wind may return. New ripples will form. The reflection may scatter again. But now you know the moon is still there. One steady source of light behind all those changing reflections. When you feel ready, wiggle your fingers and toes, take one final breath, and return, carrying with you whatever clarity was ready to meet you tonight.